JoshCast. I don't know why I did that. Yes, I do. I'm in a playful mood. That's why I did that. There. That's why. The car across from me looks like a maintenance truck. They have a red nose on the front of it, indicating or alluding to Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And so it's basically a Rudolph nose on a giant truck, and that bothers me. It just bothers me. Why? I don't even know. Why does it bother me? There's just something. I don't know. Just something. It makes me feel like whoever the owner of the truck is not as good of a person as he thinks he is. That got dark really fast. I don't even know why that came in. But that's just for some reason, the instinct I got is, you're not that good. Who do you think you are? You think you're that Mary? Yeah, we'll see. How do you treat your kids? How do you treat your wife? That's what I thought. You're divorced. That's what I thought. See? Nailed it. I'm always suspicious of the red nose in the car. Always suspicious. There's always something iffy about that. There's no credibility in what I'm saying. But there you go. That isn't even what I wanted to talk about today. This is my I'm performing for you voice. This is my I don't want to be vulnerable with you, so I'm going to put on an affectation of I am performing for you right now. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. It's a pleasure to see you tonight. Take my wife. Please, God, take her. I can't stand her. Oh. Just trying to work on authentic. The irony is that the more I try to be authentic, then I'm not authentic anymore because I'm trying to be authentic. So that's where we're at there. But there's another house over here that has solar panels. That's cool. Is it that hard to do solar panels? I don't know. I feel like everyone's so against solar panels. Not everyone, but certain political factions are against solar panels. Is it that big of a deal? It's a solar panel. It seems easier than mining for coal. I don't, I'm not an expert. But you're in a on the one hand you got to go underground, you got to dig, and there's there could be cave-ins, or even with the strip mining, you got to rip off a mountain. Whereas with a solar panel, you're in a room and you've taken a larger square and you're putting smaller squares in it. You're using glue and a hot glue gun and maybe a staple here, a staple there, and then you put it in a big envelope and you mail it to the house in a gigantic 6-foot by 5-foot envelope labeled solar panel. Caution, this side up. And you got to get a huge letter opener and open it and then glue it to the top of the house. Right? That's how science works. The car. I'm recording this podcast in the car, and I don't know why, but I like leaving the car on when I do this. I'm wasting fuel. There's no reason to leave the car on. I'm recording on a phone which has a self-contained battery. But there's something about just it. Maybe it's the idea that if need be, I can flee. Which is very Jewish. And that's I should be doing a Jewish themed podcast because even though I don't practice the religion of Judaism, it's too late. That's what I am. That was my background. My background growing up was extreme Reform Judaism. That's what I would call it. I mean, it was so Reform Judaism. It was, we were one latke away from atheism, really. That's where we were at. It was basically just religion equals come to the holidays and eat. That's basically all it was. And I don't know how seriously anyone in my family really believes in God. I don't think we talked about it. I feel like if I asked my grandmother, hey, do you believe in God? She'd be like, yeah, sure. Yeah. Yeah, it's a thing. My mother told me that my grandfather actually did not believe in God. He was more of an atheist. but still practiced the holidays, did the holiday thing. Maybe because just that's what you did. And I think also when my grandparents were growing up in Colorado, I sense, or from the stories I heard, that the Jewish people growing up in Colorado were much more. I don't think they were forcefully segregated, but I think they kept to themselves more than they do now. And I think there was more. My grandfather was telling me stories about how he was, jumped on the street by gangs of other ethnicities, but I don't, I don't know if that was an ethnic thing or just, kids are idiots things. But I do think there was more of I would imagine that there was a stronger need to preserve the Jewish identity. And with each passing generation, the need to preserve the Jewish identity has given way to the need to be happy. And we arrive now at 2018. And I read, according to Wikipedia, that I think Jewish numbers are down. I think numbers are declining. I mean, at least I wouldn't be surprised if numbers were declining. I think Judaism's a hard sell. And I can say this because I've lived it. But I don't know. I think it's the Volvo of religions in many ways. It's, follow all these rules, and, there's probably not a heaven or a hell, but if you follow all these rules, then you'll be less stressed. Judaism! Good. So we covered Judaism. Covered that topic. I think the guy who owns the truck right now he's outside. He's shoveling in the front yard of a house. I think they're planting trees, and I think he was hired. And there's a kid with him. It might be his kid, and the kid is shoveling and helping. And the kid looks to be about, I don't know. The kid sees me looking at him, so now I feel like I'm recording into a microphone or into my phone while the kid is looking at me, and this is leading to court. That's where this is going. But the kid is, I want to say 12 or 13, and I don't know if he's helping. Dad's a maintenance person or a landscape person, and he's helping Dad on a Sunday, which, and now I feel guilty for making fun of them because God, they're working on a Sunday. What if, they're just barely staying alive, and he's got to work on Sundays, planting trees in other people's yards just to keep the family running, and it's a constant battle just to stay afloat. And here this Jew is sitting in this car commenting on it for the sake of comedy. So great, I've managed to feel guilty now. That only took 8 minutes into the podcast before I'm feeling guilty. That's a personal best. Absolute personal best. Sushi modeling. That's what I wanted to talk about today. Sushi modeling. If you're not familiar, a woman will disrobe, lie down on a table, and they will put little leaves over her private areas, and then sushi on the leaves. And it's kind of a thing that you tend to see, I guess, at bachelor parties. Well, in the article I was reading, they said you see it in bachelor parties, bachelorette parties, and corporate events. That third one really hit me. Corporate events. This would be a great activity for an HR convention. That should be so much fun. I mean, you could. You want to see a room full of people sweating over, the rules. That's how you do it. This concept fascinates me. So it originated in Japan in the 1800s. They think. They're not sure where. Who knows? It could have. I mean, we know it originated. I guess there's a practice and there's an art form to it and a cultural element that was cultivated in Japan. But we have no idea if people were doing this in other cultures thousands of years earlier. Jews could have been doing this. I don't know. At one point, King Solomon could have been sitting there. There's a naked woman in front of him with lox and bagel, and schmear, and he's sitting there and they're having a meal with his grandmother, and the grandmother is just going, the lox aren't good this week. The lox are not good this week. Why do we keep coming to this restaurant? I like the naked woman restaurant on the other side of Jerusalem. Why don't we go there? This place is not so good. That's possible. We don't know. Okay? We don't have all the facts when it comes to history. I don't know that I could eat sushi off of a woman. I really don't know that I could do it and feel okay with it. I'm really not sure, because they interviewed sushi models, and the models they interview say, "Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun. You should try it. It's an amazing experience." And I'm sitting there thinking, there's two possibilities here. Either number one, they really believe that, or number two, why would they be honest in an interview? How do you feel about sushi modeling? Well, I had a terrible childhood. I think that's pretty obvious, Ted, the interviewer. So who knows? I feel like even if the sushi model herself was assuring me, I want to be here, I enjoy this is totally cool, snack away, Charlie, I would still feel really uncomfortable. So the question is, am I the one with the problem, or is society the one with the problem? I'm the one with the problem, I guess. Why would I find it uncomfortable? Because I don't want to be in a situation where I'm eating and trying not to get an erection at the same time. Why do I have to do both? Why do I have to multitask in this situation? I'm not big on that. I don't want to do. It's like the same kind of thing as going to Hooters. It's like what's the point of going to Hooters? Well, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to force myself not to look at breasts, in the hopes that the woman with the breasts will see that I'm trying not to look at the breasts and go, "Wow, he has integrity. He's not like all these other pigs. Maybe he's the right guy for me." And then later I will see the breasts. That's my whole plan. If I were to go to Hooters, why? So I'm feeling better about this podcast, I got to say. And I feel I never like admitting when I'm feeling good about something, because I'm afraid as soon as I admit it, I just feel like God goes, "Excuse me, what? Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't paying attention. Let's make this bad." But all right, well, I don't know. Getting out of the podcast is always awkward for me, like everything else. So I suppose I will end by saying, if you can afford it, get solar panels. Get solar panels.